we have the Honorable Tarak Balasurias have His Excellency Levan of the Russian Federation in Colombo Foreign Affairs, and then Major Sadun Gunawardana coming here, and I'll
At the outset, let me thank all of you all for coming over here, and His Excellency Ambassador Levan and Major Sadun and Cicero from the Consular Division. The situation in Russia is very unfortunate, and we are working out with the Minister of Defense as for the exact number of people who have gone to Russia. So far, we have received 455 complaints. We feel that these numbers could be higher than this, but we are verifying the numbers. The people who have gone to Russia have gone through different means. Most of the people who have gone to Russia have taken visit visas, and then they have gone via 5 routes through India or through the Middle East. And they have been, I think, duped by certain nefarious agents, and some of these people have been arrested, as you all are well aware of this, and the people who have left to Russia have been promised certain salaries, certain privileges, including citizenship. So I think, given the economic circumstances which is taking place in Sri Lanka, it is we had seen a similar situation taking place when people went illegally to Dubai and then thereafter to Oman. But of course, the situation is a little bit different over here, because to Dubai and to Oman, they were looking after work, but over here there's a war situation taking place. And some of the people who have been going to Russia have been told that they will not be used for any fighting or any military purposes. But we have reports. I get about 10 calls every day, reports that they have been put to the front. And also the issue which we have is that some of the agents who have taken these people, that whenever they get paid, that their salaries have been deducted. So some of the people have come and complained to us. We have got complaints saying that that they are not getting paid for the work which they are doing. So the embassy in Moscow is working hard with the Russian government, and we also have been in constant touch with Ambassador Levan and the embassy of Russia to make sure that the people who are in Russia are not put to the front, and at the earliest occasion to get their release and bring them back to Sri Lanka. As you all know, that we enjoy a very healthy relationship with Russia. So we feel that with dialogue with the Russian partners, that we will be able to quickly settle this situation. The situation is actually very unfortunate, because some of the people who have gone to Russia also has paid from their pockets, and they have bought their tickets and they have gone to Russia. Some of them have taken loans. Yesterday we met some representatives from these groups, and they said now they have to pay the loans to this from whoever they have taken the loans from. And in addition to that, there are other issues such as your pension. The pension needs to be certified by a Grama Sevaka every 6 months, and some of them, if their pensions are not certified, then they won't be able to get the pensions also. So we want to work very closely with the Russian embassy and come to an early settlement on this matter. We have requested for appointments from the Russian Foreign Ministry and the Ministry of Defense, and we hope that the appointments will come by the 5th. We have indicated that we will be wanting to travel to Russia between 5th and the 7th. And we hope that the Russian, I know the Ambassador Levan is working very hard in order to try and get these particular dates for us. And there's no point in going to Russia if these dates are also not given, if these appointments are not given, because we need to get the appointments and we need to have a dialogue with our Russian counterparts in order to come for early settlement. So the first thing which we request is that, and we also have developed a mechanism that in future, if any male applicants who will be going to Russia will be scrutinized, and as of today, and no objection letter from the Ministry of Defense will be required if they are to go to Russia. So that will kind of stop people from going to Russia. But the next thing is to ensure that whoever is in Russia is not being put to the war front, because the agents the scrupulous agents who have enticed these people to go to Russia had never said anything about, for these people to be fighting in a war. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and our embassy in Russia is working hard to bring these people back. At the moment, we have been successful in bringing 26 people. We have repatriated 26 people who have come to the embassy. Some of these people do not have money or the bare necessities. So the embassy has stepped in order to help these people. We have reports that there are 16 people missing, and this figure could be much higher. So I think we need to work very closely with our Russian counterparts in order to come for an early settlement on this matter. And I also will invite Ambassador Levan, His Excellency, to share his views on this.
I agreed to come here, maybe to share with you some ideas. From the very beginning, when this problem emerged, we were in close contact with the Foreign Ministry, and when I hear some speculations from time to time that Foreign Ministry is doing nothing, I categorically reject this speculations as ambassador, because once again, from the very beginning, we were in close contacts, and Honorable Mr. Sabri invited me several times to discuss the issue. I met with the Honorable Defense Secretary, Mr. Kamal Gunaratne, with other high-ranking officials, and we tried to do something to settle down the problem. And just today in Moscow, there will be a meeting in the Defense Ministry with the head of your mission, diplomatic mission, and with your defense attaché, with high-ranking Russian military officials. I do believe that would be the first step, and we will continue these efforts to settle down the situation. And just a few words, about these people who just came to the Russian embassy to obtain this visa. If you allow me, I will ask my consul, former consul, to present some explanations about it, about issuing visa. And these people didn't tell us that they have signed contracts. Didn't say it. Please, Mr. Fedorov.
First of all, we're talking about the documents. There is a strict list of papers which need to be presented to our consular section. And first of all, it's about the grounds for visa. Besides, on a regular basis, we conduct very detailed and biased interviews with all the applicants, regardless of their sex, of their family status, and other circumstances, because it's also a question of great importance for our security of our country. And getting back to the previous months, there was never such situation when any of those applicants, which are now supposedly involved in these events in Ukraine, presented a contract with the Minister of Defense of Russia. We asked numerous questions concerning their route in Russia, which cities they were going to visit, and what will their program, cultural program, be like in Russia. And there were very clear answers to such questions, and no any hint to their eagerness, willingness to participate on this or that side of the conflict.
I have a question. Are here representatives of Daily Mirror here? Daily Mirror newspaper. Is anybody from Daily Mirror? You are? Yeah. Today, Daily Mirror. Powerful Western country concerned over Sri Lanka ex-soldiers joining the Russian military. I have two questions, ladies and gentlemen. Please reveal the name of this Western country, powerful Western country. I understand which country is in your mind, but please reveal. Why don't you reveal the name of the country? And second, concerned over soldiers joining Russian military. But what about Ukrainian military? There were also some Sri Lankans joining Ukrainians, and nothing. And this powerful Western country, they are not concerned with it. Why? Because it's clear demonstration of their double standards and hypocrisy. If you have something to say, to explain, I would be very glad to hear. Which Western country do you mean here? I understand what's going on, but which country? I don't want to pronounce, but you know it and I know it, and everybody knows it. Let's not allow some non-friendly countries to interfere into this case and to spoil our traditional friendly relations. Thank you.
Well, bring this. Yes, certainly. First thing is that we need to stop people from going to Russia, okay, because irrespective of all the press coverage which we get, which you all give, given to the gravity of this situation. Now, if I take, for example, the Myanmar case, which has been going on for some time, but only last week, another student from Sri Lanka through Dubai has gone to Myanmar. So similarly, we can't say for sure that the Sri Lankans have stopped going to Russia. So that's why we are working very closely with the Russian embassy in order, as a first step, in order to prevent people from going to Russia. The second step is that, as the ambassador stated, that there is already a meeting with the Ministry of Defense of Russia today. Ruben is having a meeting with the Russian authorities, and we want to ensure that whoever is in Russia is not deployed in the front, in the military front. The third thing which we want to do is bring back anybody who does not want to be over there in Russia. We want to work with the Russian authorities to bring back those people as quickly as possible. We know that there has been many wounded, so we want to bring back the wounded people, and then also the rest of the people who do not want to be in Russia. So that's what we want to accomplish.
Ambassador, you said that you didn't know when these people wanted to go to Russia. They came for visa, but you said you didn't know that they signed a contract with somebody. Do you know who these people who signed the contract with?
I don't know, but I heard about some agencies.
Agents, Russians?
No, here.
Okay, signed deal with somebody in Russia.
I don't have, maybe. I have no detailed information because for me it was a great surprise. Because they are coming, as my consul said, they are just applying to consular section on legal basis. But we are unaware, we were unaware of what's going on. That's why let us continue our joint work to clarify the situation, to sort out these problems.
Yes, just a question here. Amal Jayasinghe from France Press.
France Press?
From France Press, AFP.
France Press.
Yeah, AFP.
Ah,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
Yes, France Press, please.
Actually, I have a question for the minister and then maybe a follow-up on the previous question. To the question to the minister is that do we have some clarity on the numbers? Because you mentioned that some people were missing, the exact numbers, and also do you have an idea of the casualties, not just in Russia but also in Ukraine and in both countries? What are the sort of casualty figures that you're hearing? I'll ask the question from the ambassador afterwards, or would you want me to ask?
I'll answer it and then you can.
Okay, thank you.
I think as far as the numbers, what we are, I think the Minister of Defense, Major Sadun, can explain it further. They have a hotline, and anybody, the next of kin, can report to through this hotline if some of their relations have gone to Russia. So the numbers that we have got through the hotline is 455. Okay, but it doesn't mean that everybody who has gone to Russia has reported their cases to the Ministry of Defense. So that's why we say that it could be higher than that. And as far as the casualties goes, that I wouldn't say casualties, but that our embassy in Moscow, we have got reports that 16 people have been missing. So 16. So when we don't know,
what about the fatalities?
So when we don't have the exact numbers. Cecilia, do you have any? I think we have a fatalities at the moment is okay. Fatalities. Yeah, we have the number injured as 37.
37 injured.
Yeah, and 16 missing, but for the fatalities, we don't have the numbers as of yet. Now, we can't, it's very difficult to ascertain the numbers when we don't know the totality of the number of people which has gone to Sri Lanka.
But Minister, is this for both countries or is it just only for Russia?
This
Because the ambassador said people are on both sides.
This is only for Russia.
This is only for Russia.
Yeah.
So we don't know the situation in Ukraine.
For Ukraine, now I don't think has there been any complaints on Ukraine, huge numbers? One. Go ahead. Why don't you explain pertaining to Ukraine?
We have received one complaint with regard to the Ukraine issue.
But no casualties, no fatalities?
Not yet. We have not received information. We are in the process of collecting those information.
Right. Okay, if I may, the question to the ambassador. Excellency, you were talking about some of these people having some kind of contracts which you were unaware of. But on social media, we have seen that these people claim, we don't know if it's true, that they claim that these are agreements with the Russian Ministry of Defense. That they seem to be some kind of official document. So would you have any information from the Russian defense authorities on any Sri Lankans who may have signed up?
That's the issue to be discussed today at the Defense Ministry. Let's wait. And I have already mentioned that today's meeting in Defense Ministry is only the first step, let's say. And hopefully we will continue and we will make some further steps to clarify the situation.
And in terms of the number of people, Sri Lankans who have applied for visit visas to Russia, let's say in the last 6 months or even this year, would you have some number to give an idea of how many would have legally obtained visas through the embassy?
We have a lot are traveling to Russia for different reasons. I mean, study, work, cultural, cooperation, and so on. So right now, I'm not ready to answer your question, but a big number. Yes. By the way, I would like to say one thing. Western officials don't give interviews and don't cooperate with Russian journalists, Western officials. But unlike them, I try to ask your question. This about freedom of speech in Western countries, by the way.
I have one question for the Minister and one question for the Honorable Ambassador, sir. I will go in first with the Minister.
And you're from?
I'm Amandika Kure, I'm from BBC.
Okay.
Okay, my question is, we can see the government is now investigation to find agencies and people who arrange to send the people to Russia,
Yeah.
as well as Ukraine. So, but there are clearly allegation for the side of immigration department, because we see there is a allegation that officials have received some money, some kind of bribe, and made necessary arrangement for the work. On the other hand, isn't the government investigation how these people were allowed to travel to the country where there is a war in tourist visa? So is the government not looking into the fact that visas were issued on the part of the agencies and embassy, and do you doing some investigation in the about immigration department as well?
Okay, let me repeat your question if I saw that I understood it correct. The first part of it is that there has been allegations pertaining to the immigration department.
Yes.
Okay, which I cannot answer. That will have to be investigated by the relevant authorities, the police or the CID or whatever. And the second part of second part is, why did the government allow the people to visit Russia when there's a war going? Is that what you stated?
Yes, yes. These people are went from visit visa. They're using visit visa.
Yeah, I mean, Russia is a big country. You know, so and there's nothing legally stopping anybody from visiting a country where there is.
So my question is, usually if we are going to Dubai, like Dubai, for an example, usually immigration department are asking some sort of questions from us. Why are you going, and like these questions. So that is my question. Why didn't they notice this issue?
No, it will. Once the issue has cropped up, we have taken measures, as I explained, and we are working with the Russian embassy. If some male is going to Russia now, no objective letter from the Minister of Defense has to be furnished. Okay, but that's because after the problem has cropped up. But before that, wouldn't we be infringing on your fundamental rights of traveling to a country? You know, if you are to stop somebody, let's say some country which has a conflict area. Okay, and this particular conflict area is not in Russia also, it's in Ukraine. The war is not taking place in Russia, the war is taking place in Ukraine. So, because somebody wants to go to Russia on a visit visa, and without any evidence of this, and what right do we have to stop them?
Okay, my next question for the Honorable Ambassador, sir. My question is, there are reports of people from Sri Lankan joining the Russian army and even opening tax files with the Russian government. Given this, it seems unlike that Russian government is unaware of the situation. Is the Russian government officially recruiting people from countries like Sri Lanka and India to join the war, or is this happening illegally without their knowledge?
I told you once again, let us continue our investigation. And just now, I am not ready to answer this in details. We have started our work. And one reference to you. Why you are talking only about Russia? Why don't you talk about Ukraine? Yes, yes. Why do you keep silence about Ukraine? About no, please don't follow double standards. Once again, we are working to investigate. Please, let us continue our joint work with Defense Ministry and with the Foreign Ministry.
Our main concern is not whether they're in Russia or in Ukraine or they could be in Timbuktu, but if the Sri Lankans are under stress and if the Sri Lankans are in a dangerous situation, it's the duty of the government and the responsibility of the foreign ministry to ensure that they are safely returned back to the country.
Asri Fernando with the morning newspaper. Two questions, one to the minister and one to the gentleman from the Ministry of Defense, who's heading the task force on human trafficking. Minister, first question to you. Now, as the Russian ambassador also highlighted, is Sri Lanka reaching out to Ukraine to find out about Sri Lankan nationals fighting in the Ukrainian front lines? Because we did have a casualty, it was reported, of a Sri Lankan dying in combat in Ukraine. And what is being done? Is there a dialogue process going on there? How far has it gone? Are we getting the remains of those people killed on the Ukrainian line of side of the conflict returned? And to the Major, now the Human Trafficking Task Force was recently commended by the Australian government for working exemplary to stop the migration to Australia. In this matter, have you all prosecuted anyone who has returned from Russia or Ukraine on human trafficking charges? And are the laws that we have adequate for that task? Thank you.
Okay, as far as the remains, I'm not sure, but we know that there are some prisoners of war in Ukraine, and I believe the president had a telephone conversation with President today, President Zelensky, on a quick release of the prisoners of war who are in Ukraine.
Mariam Ganavijaya from News First.
I think my colleague he didn't answer his
Thank
part
you
of
for
the-
the question. Actually, only matters pertaining to human trafficking are taken into consideration by the National Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force. So as per the information gathered by the National Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force, there are human trafficking elements. So accordingly, so we have introduced hotline. Also now we are gathering informations. Accordingly, we are forwarding these informations to the Criminal Investigation Department. As you said, that National Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force, we have the strong members, like the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Public Security, and Ministry of Labor and Foreign Employment. We all are, and other departments like Criminal Investigation Department, Attorney General's Department. So we have the power to fight against human trafficking issues. So according to the information gathered, now we are also in the process of gathering information correctly. So we are forwarding all these things to the Criminal Investigation Department. Accordingly, the possible actions are, legal actions are taken against the human traffickers. So at the moment, we are gathering the information. According to the information received, not yet, but we have arrested so many racketeers, and also Criminal Investigation Department in cooperations with the National Intelligence Services, we are trying to find out the racketeers, the human traffickers who are behind the scene. So accordingly, as the chair, Secretary of Defense has advised all the stakeholders of the National Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force to take every possible stern legal action against the racketeers to liberate the victims of human trafficking from the clutches of human traffickers. Yes, at the moment we have strong laws because an amendment has been introduced to the Penal Code in 2006. So presently we have strong laws to take legal action against the traffickers.
Mariam Gunavijaya from News First. My question is to you. Apart from the delegation going to Russia, what are the specific actions that you all are taking to ensure that the military personnel who are not willing to be in Russia to return to Sri Lanka? What are the actions you all are taking to repatriate them?
Can you repeat your question, please?
What are the specific actions you all are taking to repatriate the Sri Lankan military personnel who are not willing to be in the war zone?
Yeah, so I think we need to have, I don't want to preempt what we are doing because as His Excellency the Ambassador mentioned that there's a discussion taking place today with the Russian Minister of Defense, and we intend to discuss it further with the Minister of Defense, and so I don't want to preempt what we are going to do at the moment.
Is there a specific timeline?
Well, we are hoping to travel on the 5th.
And thereafter, to solve the issue, like a specific timeline that you all have in mind?
I think it's a very difficult question to answer because first of all we need to ascertain how many people are there, and we still haven't. We have got numbers of 455. So then we need to ascertain out of the 455 or plus whatever the numbers, how many people wants to return back. There is also an element of people who do not want to return to Sri Lanka. So once that is done, so that's why we want to first make sure that the people who are in Russia are not put to the front or not used for fighting purposes. So at least that way we can safeguard their safety. Then we can, of course we want to bring the wounded as quickly as possible, and then thereafter bring the rest of the people. But our main concern is the Sri Lankans fighting in the front and dying. Also that we want to look into we want to work with the Russian authorities to look into the fact that some of them have complained that whenever their salaries gets credited to the banks, that immediately gets debited, and so they are basically fighting without getting paid, even without getting paid. So we want to ensure that we want to work closely with the Russian authorities to ensure that that does not happen, and whoever does not want to remain in Russia will come to Sri Lanka.
My question.
Or I don't know whether he has or he will be having a telephone conversation today. Do you know the numbers? Major, do you know the numbers? I cannot really give the exact number right now. Yeah, but I don't have the number with me at the moment. I think it's about 10 or 12. I think it's about 10 or 12.
My question is to the Ambassador, His Excellency. I'm Krishan from Associated Press. Just wanted to ask you here. Yeah.
Associated Press?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Please.
Yeah. Just wanted to ask you if what Russia's policy in general in relation to recruiting foreigners into its state sector, especially defense establishments.
Once again, please repeat your question.
Russia's policy in general policy on recruiting foreigners into their state sector, especially the defense institutions.
First of all, I would like to clarify our position regarding this information about possible telephone conversation between President Vikramasinghe and former President of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, former president. Because according to our official position, his tenure has expired last Tuesday, 21st of May. And for the Russian Federation, right now, the only legal body we can negotiate, possibly, is Supreme Council of the Ukraine, as they call it, Rada, and chair of this Rada, not former President Zelensky. Just to let you know. As to your question, my President Putin, clarified many times that if some foreigners would like to voluntarily, I underline voluntarily, to join Russian armed forces, there is no objection. Because look on the other side, how many mercenaries are fighting for Ukraine from different countries, from USA, from Colombia, from Poland, from Baltic countries, but Western media prefers to keep silence about it. Once again, please avoid double standards and hypocrisy.
We understand. My follow-up is, if some volunteer wants to fight or to come and join the Russian army, what are the exit clauses? Are there any way that they can leave if they want to?
I don't have any other details. You know, I'm here in Colombo. I only just, my information is based on public statement of my president and high-ranking officials.
The minister just wanted to know, now you have made a request to immediately stop sending the Sri Lankan whoever in the battlefront.
Yeah.
My first question is whether, what's the response you get? Are they still fighting or have they been stopped?
No, that's why I said there's a meeting today at 5 o'clock, so
okay.
the request will be done there.
Right,
yeah.
right. And my second question is to the Excellency, none other than the Defense Secretary of Sri Lanka, Mr. Kamal Gunaratne, has said whoever fights in Ukraine or Russia, they are mercenaries. So do you admit this mercenary status of whoever fights in the battle of Russia?
Those who want to go, voluntarily, it's their own decision. No other comments.
Minister Kalani Kumarasinghe from Newswire. My question is on the delegation that Sri Lanka is supposed to send. A former ambassador to Russia, Sri Lankan ambassador, has been making all sorts of claims regarding the efforts. Has this person been involved in the government's efforts?
No.
Aren't you concerned that there's a lot of misinformation spreading by this person?
Well, he has been predicting whether it's going to be a presidential election or a general election also, right?
Apart from that, there's a lot of things that he's been saying, so there has been no effort.
Look, I mean, the foreign minister can't waste our time correcting statements by certain individuals who wants media attention.
What I'm asking is...
and I would urge the media also, when reporting statements by these characters, that... I don't think so. It's very unfortunate that he was the ambassador for a decade. I'll be very upfront with it. He has been making statements not only pertaining to the issue in Russia, but also pertaining to other various matters.
Minister, have you engaged with him at all? Because he says...
No, I said it's...
and you're not going to?
Even before you finished the question, I knew who you were referring to. I said, it's a categorical no. It's not. I stated to the press that a former ambassador also will be accompanying us. Okay, and yes. I think it was Derenam who had reported that the president paves way for Udayang. It's very unfortunate that, when the press reports something to that effect, and then everybody got on this bandwagon thinking that this is Udayang is going to Russia, which is not the case. And nowhere in my interviews did I ever say that Udayang is going to Russia. So I don't know why you are bringing his name up.
I'm Nethra from Asia Broadcasting Corporation. My first question is to the ambassador. What laws do they have surrounding the deployment of foreign mercenaries, and how will this impact the bilateral ties?
I don't go into details. Once again, please let us work together to sort out the situation, because I'm not ready to answer all these questions in details.
My next question is to the minister. My next question is to you, Minister. There was a report from Russia today stating that Poland is working through intermediaries to acquire surplus military equipment from Sri Lanka for shipment to Ukraine. The report also says that the munitions are allegedly expired and would have their markings erased and repainted and so on before being sent to Poland and eventually to Ukraine. And allegedly, this deal involves a Polish company and a Sri Lankan firm. Could you please address this?
The Minister of Foreign Affairs has nothing to do with this transaction, so I don't know whether the major is privy for such information. But what we are talking today is not about the procurement of military equipment and all that. We have not in the past sold any of our the excess bullets or whatever the military equipment to any party. So I think that question has to be referred to the Minister of Defense. But what we are here today is to ensure that the Sri Lankans are to basically to give an explanation of the actions which we are taking pertaining to how we can bring back the Sri Lankans who are in Russia. Okay.
Mama Jagat Jesuri Swadhin Rupani Amatuma Sinhala Basaving Samarika Benabit.
අද විශේෂයෙන්ම අපේ රුසියානු තානාධිපතිතුමත් ඒ වගේම අපේ මේජර් සදුන් ගුණවර්ධන ලීගල් ඔෆිසර් හියුමන් ට්‍රැෆිකින් ටාස්ක් ෆෝස් එකෙත් ඒ වගේම අපේ කොන්සුල් එකේ ඩිරෙක්ටර් ජෙනරල් සිසිර සෙනවිරත්න මහත්මයාත් එක් අද මාධ්‍ය සාකච්ඡාවක් අපි පවත්වන්න තීන්දුව කරේ විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ රුසියාවේ ඇති වෙලා තිබෙන තත්ත්වය පිළිබඳව. මොකෝ එක එක ප්‍රවෘත්ති අංශ වලින් එක එක වාර්තා වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මම හිතන්නේ සමහර හිටපු තානාධිපතිවරුන් එක එක්කෙනා එක එක දේවල් කියනකොට මම හිතන්නේ තවත් මිනිස්සු කලබල වෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒ හින්දා ඒ වගේම මෑතකදී ඒ විපක්ෂයේ කණ්ඩායමකුත් රුසියාවට ගිහිල්ලා මේ රජයේ කිසිම දෙයක් මේ පිළිබඳව මේ රුසියාවේ ඇත් වෙලා තිබෙන තත්ත්වය පිළිබඳව ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නේ නැහැ කියලා ඒ කට්ටිය එහෙම චෝදනාවක් ගෙනාවා. අද ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම අපි ඔබතුමාලාට පෙන්වන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ අපි මෙම සිද්ධි අපිට වාර්තා වෙනකොට අපි රුසියානු තානාධිපති කාර්යාලයත් ඒ වගේම අපේ මොස්කෝව වල තිබෙන අපේ තානාධිපති කාර්යාලයත් ඒ රුසියානු රාජ්‍යයත් එක්ක නිරන්තරයෙන්ම කිට්ටුවෙන් ගනුදෙනු කළා මෙම ප්‍රශ්නය පුළුවන් තරම් ඉක්මනටම ඒ නිරාකරණයක් කරන්න. දැනට අද හවසට අපේ ඒ Ruani Munidasa in minister councillor other Rusianu ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යාංශත් එක්ක අපි සාකච්ඡා පවත්වන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඒ අමතරව අපි අපේ රුසියානු තානාධිපති කාර්යාලයනොත් ඒ වගේම අපේ තානාධිපති මොස්කෝව වල තිබෙන තානාධිපති කාර්යාලයත් ඒ රුසියානු ආණ්ඩුවෙන් අපි ඉල්ලා තිබෙනවා අපේ ඒ දූත පිරිසකට 5 වෙනිදා රුසියාවට ඇවිදින් මේ පිළිබඳව ඒ තවදුරටත් සාකච්ඡා කරන්න කියලා. ඒකද අපි විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි දැනට වැඩපිළිවෙලක් අපි තානාධිපති කාර්යාලයත් එක්ක එක්කව වෙලා තවදුරටත් ඒ රුසියාවට ඒ ලංකාවෙන් කට්ටිය යනවා නම් අපි පළවෙනි පියවරක් හැටියට මේක දැනට නවත්තන්න අපි වැඩපිළිවෙලක් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරලා තිබෙනවා. කවුරු හරි පිරිමි පුද්ගලයෙක් ඒ රුසියාවට විසිට් වීසා එකකින් නැත්නම් ඒ සංචාරයකට යනවා නම් ඒ ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යාංශයෙන් ඒ no objection ලියුමක් ගන්න වෙනවා මෙයාට ඒ විසිට් එකකට රුසියාවට යන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. ඒක අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන අපි ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන පළවෙනි පියවර. දැන්ටම ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා අද ඉඳන්. ඒ වගේම අපේ ඒ දෙවෙනි පියවර හැටියට අපි අද පවත්වන ඒ සාකච්ඡා හරහා අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ඒ රුසියානු රාජ්‍යයෙන් ඉල්ලීමක් කරන්න මේ ලංකාවේ ඉන්න ඒ කට්ටිය ඒ ෆ්‍රන්ට් එකට නැත්නම් ඒ යුදමේ පැත්තට දාන්න එපා කියලා. මොකෝ මෙතන ඉන්න බහුතරයක් ඒ කට්ටිය සටන් කරන්න නෙමෙයි ගිහිල්ලා තිබෙන්නේ. මෙතන ඉන්න බහුතරයක් මේ ඒ තවත් අනික් වැඩවලට ගිහිල්ලා කියලා තමයි ඒ අපිට ආරංචි මාර්ග වලින් අපිට දැන්වත් වෙලා තිබෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා අපි මේ කට්ටියකින් ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා මේ කට්ටිය ඒ ෆ්‍රන්ට් එකට දාන්න හදන්න එපා කියලා. ඒ වගේම අපි ඒ ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා අපිට 5 වෙනිදා ඉඳන් 7 වෙනිදා වෙනකන් අපිට අපි පුළුවන් නම් අපිට අපි දින දීලා තිබෙනවා අපිට ඒ සාකච්ඡාවක් ඒ විදේශ අමාත්‍යාංශයත් ඒ වගේම මේ කට්ටියගේ ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යාංශයත් එක්ක අපිට දෙන්න කියලා. එතකොට මේ හරහා අපි තවදුරටත් ගිහිල්ලා අපි ඒ සාකච්ඡා කරලා ඒ තුවාල වෙච්ච ඒ ඉස්ලාම ඒ තුවාල වෙච්ච අපේ සොල්දාදුවෝ ඉන්නවා නම් මේ කට්ටිය පුළුවන් තරම් ඉක්මනටම ලංකාවට ගෙන එන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම රුසියාවේ කවුරු හරි ඒ අගමැත්තෙන් ඒ කටයුතු කරනවා නම් අපි ඒ කට්ටියව ලංකාවට ගෙන එන්න අපි සාකච්ඡා කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
ස්තුතියි ප්‍රශ්නෙට. ඒක තමයි ඇත්තටම මේ National Human Trafficking Task Force එකේ කාර්යභාරය බවට පත් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මොකද ඇත්තටම පුද්ගලයෙක් රැවටීමෙන් විදේශ රැකියාවක් මත පොරොන්දු වෙලා ගියාට පස්සේ ඒ අයව රැවටීමෙන් වෙනත් සේවයක යෙදවීම තමයි එයාගේ කැමැත්තෙන් තොරව ඒක සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් ඒක human trafficking නැත්තම් තැනැත්තන් වෙළඳාම කියලා අපි හඳුනාගෙන තියෙන්නේ. දැන් ඒ සම්බන්ධව වාර්තා වෙන පැමිණිලි සියල්ල වාර්තා කරගන්නවා. ඒ අනුව ඒකට අවශ්‍ය ඉන්වෙස්ටිගේෂන්ස් කරන්නේ අපරාධ විමර්ශන දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව මගින්. ඒ අනුව අවශ්‍ය විමර්ශනය සිදු කළා ඒ දේ කිරීම සඳහා යම් ආකාරයකින් ආධාර අනුබල දීපු ඒ වගේම ඒකට ඉදුරාම මැදිහත් වෙච්ච සියලු දෙනාට එරෙහිම ලංකාවේ නීතිය ප්‍රතිපාදන අනුව මේක බරපතල වරදක්. ඒ කියන්නේ අප ලබා දිය නොහැකි වරදක්, සමත කළ නොහැකි වරදක්. ඒ වගේම අවුරුදු 2 සිට අවුරුදු 20 දක්වා සිර දඬුවම් ලැබිය හැකි බරපතල ගණයේ වරදක්. ඒ අනුව අවශ්‍ය නීතිමය පියවර ගන්න කටයුතු සූදානම් කරමින් තියෙනවා.
Exist. Yes? Problem exists. And there are some Sri Lankans fighting on the other side of the front line. But I would like also to use this opportunity to declare that the Russian Federation is ready for the peace talks. President Putin has said about it many times. We are ready to start peace talks. But the other side, I mean Western countries, must respect our legitimate right, our security concerns. And we are ready, but on the equal basis, without arrogance, without mutual respect. And we have proposed it at the end of 2021, but all our proposals were rejected. That's why we were forced to start special military operation. If they want to defeat Russia, strategic defeat, if they are honored for the negotiations, it's up to them. We will continue our special military operation. If they want to sort out the problem on the battlefield, okay, battlefield is battlefield, and we will continue. But once again, we are ready for the peace talks, but I'm not sure with this so-called government of Ukraine, with the puppet regime of Ukraine, because it's necessary to talk to their bosses. If they decide to start the war, peace will with negotiations, it's possible, but it's not our choice. Thank you.
Colleague from Defense Ministry and the Foreign Ministry. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen.